Hey everybody, it's Contraltissimo. You can call me Connie. Today we are going to be learning a life skill, and that life skill is contact papering your paperback books. And this is a great way to keep the covers fresh and smooth. You can open it as many times as you like. The spine will never crack. It's a great way to protect it from age and wear and sweaty palms if you're reading, scary, intense bits. Anyway, for this you are going to need contact paper. You can get this. I got this at like Walmart, and it's pretty cheap, but it's very durable, very useful. Good stuff. Scissors. You want to get as small as you can. I'll tell you why later into the process. You can also use big scissors. And some paperweights. You're going to need some paperweights. And of course, the thing you're going to contact paper. Now, I had filmed myself contact papering this lovely 4th issue of the Twilight Princess manga that I went and bought yesterday. But I was so out of practice of doing it that it was a lot slower than I would have liked. So today we're going to re-contact paper volume 2 because, as you can see, I did it a little bit imperfectly last time. This corner is beginning to beginning to come off right there. And so since I'm a perfectionist, we're just going to take this off. It's been on here. This contact paper has been on this one well over a year, I think, but this stuff is great. It's adhesive, but it's not sticky. It'll leave your books nice. You can just take it off if you want, and the book will still be just good as new. So let's get started. Peels off nice and smooth, no residue at all. Very nice. Again, this stuff has been on here for well over a year. Still looking great. Just go slow and gentle. Looks like we got a little bit left here. All right, ready to repaper. You want to make sure that the surface you are working on is going to be very clean. No crumbs, no grit, no dust, no nothing. Because, the contact paper is adhesive, so anything that can get stuck there probably will, so make sure there's nothing there to get stuck. First, we want to cut out a piece that's big enough to cover our book. I like to leave a little bit of a margin, so like here we can see, let's get it over there. You want to leave, as much as you're comfortable with, a little margin around here. You saw those parts that we folded in under the covers. You're going to want a little margin to work with. I like to do about 1 inch, but I don't want to waste this roll. You can see I can, if I'm a little bit conservative, I can do a book here and a book here. So just depending on the size of the roll that you're working with and how prudent you want to be with it. Anyway, just measure it. I like to eyeball it, so we'll just set it down there. Make a little cut. Hey, move over. We want to cut it there. Roll it over. That's how much we're going to need. Make another cut up here and cut those in. And the paper does have a grid. You can see through it. The grid's printed on the other side, but you can see it through the paper pretty well. Okay, now we've got our paper. Let's put it on the book. Turn your paper over so that, okay, so this surface here is going to be the outside. It's going to be the same as what you feel on a covered book. So we're going to turn the paper over so the sticky side of the contact paper, the clear stuff, is going to be facing up. And we are just going to fold a little guide. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. We just want to make a little fold. And now we're going to start to separate the paper from the backing. And it's a little tricky. You can roll it into a very tight roll. That might get it to separate from itself. There we go. And try and just hang on to the corners, because it will take up fingerprints or oil from your fingers. So, but you know, if you grab it, it's not going to do too much damage. It just depends on how perfectionistic you are. Anyway, fold that down a little beyond the previous fold we made. You can see it reflecting in the light there. We're going to take our book, page edges toward us, toward this edge of the contact paper, and we're going to line up this edge of the cover with our guide fold. There we go. Just sit it down. Press it in place. Now we're going to turn the whole thing over. And here we have the beginning of our application of the contact paper. Now, this is just going to sit here in a roll. What you want to do is reach behind. You're going to want to grab this edge back here. You're going to want to pull that away from you, and at the same time, just work with your fingers and press some more of this down here. And it'll get easier. The beginning is a little bit tight, but as you pull it further away, you can just come in here, press this down, squeeze out all the air bubbles, and I'm just going to work my way down the cover like this. And remember, no cover is completely perfect. I mean, you can get it pretty darn close. But if you get, microscopic bubbles in there, it is not the end of the universe. It's still going to be a very good protection for your book. Once you get to the spine, you're going to bring the whole thing over to the edge of the table. I'm going to scoot the camera back. All right. I just like to let that hang down over the edge. Oh, there we go. Same thing. Just keep working it Squeeze the air bubbles out toward the side. Do a little bit up under onto the other cover. There's a little bubble right there. I'll finesse that later. And then we're going to flip the whole thing over. Continue the process toward the end of the other cover. Don't worry about going fast. I'm just going a little bit faster for the sake of this video. The other one was a little bit sluggish because I couldn't remember how to do it, but now I've recently done a couple of books. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how you do it. So I'm only going this fast just for the demonstration, just to impart the technique. So you guys can take your time. When you get close enough, slide it out. Squeeze out the air bubbles. Feels smooth. I don't feel any specks or crumbs or anything. And again, if you get little bubbles, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes when you pull back the cover, you might get a little crease of bubbles. Those will disappear as soon as you close it again. Again, no binding is perfect, no cover is perfect, but it's still going to look great. Except right here, it's totally reflecting the light from the lamp. So, but anyway, don't worry about that. Next, we are going to fold these down under the covers to secure it. A place where you might want big scissors, just depending on how big your margin is that you left yourself. So I like to do it in one cut. We're going to cut a fairly broad angle toward the corner and then away from the corner. Just get as close as you're comfortable with. So that's going to look like that. It's not quite all the way to the corner, it's not touching, but don't worry about that. It will fold in and it will be flush. Same thing to the other. A little bit of a broad angle. Now, we need to cut over here. We need to make a cut that is symmetrical to this one. But before we do that, we have to look at the binding and see how far out the glue goes, because you don't want to cut too close to the spine and then try and fold it under and it might not fit because the glue is in the way. So be sure to first open the cover. Hey guys, get out of the way. And just look carefully over here at how far the glue extends into the page. So, just eyeball it, make a nice cut. Same thing on the other side. Let me get these scissors. Judge how far the glue comes in. Make another cut. Okay. So now we're ready to fold this cover, fold the tabs on this cover over. So we're going to put that side on the bottom, press it against our clean flat surface. We're going to grab this over here. Hey, come here. And we are going to just put some nice pressure down in the middle and work our way out toward the sides. Just squeeze out the bubbles. Same thing on this side. Grab it. Okay. Press it in. Work out the bubbles. Again, go at your own speed. Don't rush it. And then, finally, we're going to get... Hey! The big side tab. There we go. Good. Let's see how that looks. Very nice. And you might get bubbles up here. Don't worry about them. You can just squeeze them out or leave them in. A man on a galloping white horse will never notice. Very nice. All right, I'm going to do this cover now. And this is very important. When you have stuff on the table like scissors and you want to reorient this, at this stage you want to pick it up off the table to turn it. Because these things sticking out here, these parts that we've left hanging here, see that coming off the spine? That will snag on things and that will start to tear in all kinds of wrong directions, which is what I believe caused this one to start tearing away in the first place. So be very, very careful when you turn it around. Very nice. Now we're ready to trim these. Okay, this is going to be the trickiest part. This is the reason why you want small scissors, because you're going to make a very fine cut. And depending on the orientation of the blades of your scissors, you might have to cut it at a really weird angle. You want to get as close as you can to the book. So I'm going to cut it thusly instead of, like this or some other way. Anyway, just have a close look at the blades of your scissors and which way they're facing, and that way you'll be able to make as close a cut as you can. And you're just going to cut very finely. Sorry, I'm just going to pay attention to what I'm doing instead of to the camera, so I hope this focuses. It's always the trickiest part. It's trickier with a camera in between you and the book. There you go. Oh, that feels nice. It's a little... Let me go like this. Yeah, feels good. All right, other side. Oh, it's always so precarious feeling. There. Feels pretty good. I think there might be, there's a little bit. I'm just going to make a tiny little trim. You don't have to do this, depending on how careful you want to be. There. Perfect. And now your book is contact papered, It will be protected from lots of wear. The spine will be pristine for as long as the paper stays on there. You don't have to worry about sweating on the cover or damaging the material. Very good way to protect your book. Cheap material, very durable, very useful. And I hope this guide has been helpful for those who want to cover their books. And thank you all for watching. I will see you later.